Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Now today I want us to look at the equation of a straight line, a very simple equation. I want just how you to have the basis, then from there you can submit your questions based on this. Now let's look at this question today. A straight line passes through the points P13 and Q -29. Find the equation of the line PQ in the form of AX plus BY is equals to C. Now a question like that, basically, the first thing you need to understand, this is the equation of a straight line. And for you to form an equation, you must have the gradient. Let's find the gradient. Gradient is equals to change in Y over change in X. For instance, if you are having, let's say, a triangle like this, the change in X from here to here, the change for 5 from here to here is what will give us the gradient. And therefore, the gradient can sometimes be said to be the slope. The gradient is the slope. Now, change in Y, which is, we have, let's say, x1, y1, x2, y2. It will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is 9 minus 3. 9 minus 3 out of minus 2 minus 1. Minus 2 minus 1, it will be 6 over negative 2, which is negative 6 over negative 3, sorry, which is negative 2. Now, got the gradient. Now, how can we form the equation of the line? We take one point, general equation xy, the gradient. Very good. Now, it will be point, let's say, P13, general point xy. Then we have the gradient as negative 2. It will be y minus 3 out of x minus 1 equals to negative 2. Now, cross multiply, it will be y minus 3 is equals to minus 2 into bracket x minus 1. Y minus 3 is equals to minus 2 times x minus 2x minus 2 times minus 1, negative multiplied plus 2. Now, which form? Ax plus by. Now, x is here. Let's put it here. It will be negative, it will be positive, plus, we have already y here, is equals to negative 3, go there, 5. That is the equation of the line in the form of ax plus by is equals to 5. Class, this one is called coefficient of x. This one is called coefficient. It's called coefficient of x. This one is called, the coefficient of x here is 1, is 2. The coefficient of y here is 1. The coefficient of 2 is, the coefficient of x is 2, while the coefficient of y is 1. And therefore, this one is called the constant. Because x and y at time, they are called the variables. They keep on changing depending on the value they are taking. Another line PR passes through the point P. We have point P as 1, 3. And it's perpendicular to line PQ. Now we say for perpendicular lines, M1 multiplied by M2 will give us negative 1. For perpendicular lines, M1 multiplied by M2. M1 basically means gradient of line 1 multiplied by the gradient of line 2 will give us negative 1. While for parallel lines, M1 is equals to M2. Very simple. For gradient lines, for parallel lines, M1 is equals to M2. Now, let's look at this one very fast. Now it will be M1 we have negative 2, M2 will equal be negative 1 over negative 2 over negative 2. So M2 is equals to a half. Now, let's form the equation very fast. We have point P given us 1, 3, general point xy. Now the gradient changes to be a half. Previously it was negative 2. And these two lines are perpendicular to one another. Very fast. It will be y minus 3 out of x minus 1 giving us a half. Now cross multiply, it will be 2 into bracket y minus 3 equaling 1 into bracket x minus 1. It will be 2y minus 6 is equals to x minus 1. Very good. Now this one, you are told in the form of y is equals to mx plus c. Now whatever you will be having on the left hand side should only be y. That y should even not be having a coefficient because the equation is telling you y itself only. Now it will be 2y is equals to x minus 1 plus 6, which is 2y is equals to x plus 5. Is that complete? We have this one. 2y is equals to x plus 5. Is it complete? Which form are we told? Y. And here we can see the y, variable y has a coefficient of 2. So, and we want to remain with y only on the left hand side. What do? We multiply through by the coefficient, that is 2. It will be y is equal to x over 2 basically means it's the same as writing I have x plus 5 over 2. And that is the equation of PR. And that is the equation of PR, line PR. Line PR cuts the x-axis and the y-axis at the point A. X-axis, point A. Y-axis, point B. Now let's look at these things very quickly. At x-axis class, at x-axis, y is always equal to 0. We basically mean if we have this one on the Cartesian plane, this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. Any point on this line, the value of y is 0 because it is origin. Because we are just moving horizontally through the origin on y-axis. Because y here is 0? Because y can only make a change if you move upwards or you are moving downwards. But if you maintain a horizontal movement to the origin, that means the value of y remains to be 0. Similar case, y-axis, at y-axis, x is equal to 0. What do we mean by that? Any point on this line, the value of x remains to be 0. Why? Here the point of origin, 0, 0. Now if you move like this, and the value of x can be made to change by either moving rightwards or leftwards. If there's no any movement, you move from the origin upwards or downwards, the value of x on this line remains to be 0. And therefore, we take the equation that is y is equals to, here y is 0, right? We say y is equals to a half x plus 5 over 2. It will be y now here is 0 because at x-axis y is 0. 0 is equals to a half x plus 5 over 2. Now to get the value of x, put here x inside, minus a half x is equals to 5 over 2. How can we get the value of what? X times negative 2 times negative 2. This one. It will be, times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, it will be negative x is equals to 5 over negative 1 over negative 1. X is equals to negative 5. Now the coordinates. Since we have the value of y as 0, it will be we have x negative 5, 0. That's the coordinates of B. Now let's check the coordinates of this one was A, A. Now the coordinates of B. Now let's put this one, y is equals to a half x plus 5 over 2. And we know the value of x, 0. Y is equals to a half into bracket 0 plus 5 over 2. Now it will be y is equals to 5 out of 2. Y is equals to 5 out of 2. And therefore it will be B, it will be 0 on y, 5 over 2 on x, or 0, 2.5, like that. And that is the end of the question. Wish you a fruitful and a blessed month of Ramadan.